there, it's Nina with Walla Stamping. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I have posted on Facebook, and I think I made mention on another video tutorial that I was going to restart my Gift Tag Tuesday series. So today is day one of that series, and I've decided to go ahead and go with a Christmas gift tag for today. Now, every tag that I make is not going to be Christmas related. Some of them may be birthday, some of them might be baby shower gifts, so there will be an array of different types of gift tags, but this is the first one that I wanted to do because I find this little Santa Claus so irresistibly cute. I just had to share him with you. And I also want to demonstrate the new alcohol markers that Stampin' Up! Is coming out with, and they are called Stampin' Blends, and that is what I colored him with. So I just wanted to introduce you to those. Even though they're not available yet, I want you to see how they work. Now, on the back of this, I just have a little piece of real red cardstock, and I've stamped to and from on there. So let me show you everything you're going to need to create this little gift tag. So to start out with, I have a couple pieces of red glimmer paper, and they're both cut to 3.5 by 3.5. And I have two pieces of the Christmas Around the World Designer Series paper. They're both 3.5 by 3.5. Then for the back of the tag, I have some real red. It's the same size as the others, 3.5 square. And then you're going to need 6 pieces of Whisper White, and these are 4 inches by 2. Now I've gone ahead and I've punched out 5 of my little cookie cutter punch shapes to make the Santa Claus, because I didn't want to take time on the video to punch these out. But you'll need a total of 6 of these that are 4 by 2. And then you're going to need a couple of these little circles, but they are going to end up getting punched out. Now what I'm going to be using is, this is called the Cookie Cutter Builder Punch, and you can see that there's 2 little circles right there, and inevitably when you are punching all of these out, you're going to get at least 2 of those punched out with it. Then the stamp set that I'm using is the Cookie Cutter Christmas. This is actually a set that was from last year, but I think it's so cute. I think that it would be adorable to give to a child on their gift, but I think that an adult would enjoy it as well. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way. I'm going to be using Memento ink in Tuxedo Black, and the reason I'm using this ink is because it works best with these alcohol-based markers. So I've got my little Santa Claus mounted on a block D. I'm going to get him inked up real well and then just stamp him right there. And what you may want to keep in mind is stamp your image kind of close to the bottom of the paper, because when you go to punch him out, you're going to want his feet at the bottom, because that's the way he's going to fit into the punch, and you want a little extra paper to hang on up here so that you can get that where you need it to be to punch it out. Now you may have seen some other demonstrators showing off these new markers, but I want to show them off too because I love them, and I think you are going to love them too. So the colors that I'm going to be using on Santa is the ivory, the dark pink pirouette, the light cherry cobbler, dark smoky slate, and dark old olive. Now, as I was saying, these markers are not available yet, but because I'm a demonstrator, I have the privilege of being able to purchase these before they're made public for everyone to purchase. So if you've ever considered being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, if it's to be a hobbyist demonstrator because you want to get perks like this of being able to buy products before they're basically out on the market and getting a discount on all of your supplies, then let me know. I would love to have you join my team. If you have any questions or concerns, just send me an email to nina@wallastamping.com and I will be glad to send you some information. So let me get back to these little markers. Now on one side you see this little thin line. That is telling you that this is the end of the marker that has a pointed side. kind of like a Sharpie or something. On this side, the little nib is kind of like a brush. Now, because this is sort of small, I'm going to be using the narrow tip because I do have some little areas that are kind of small to get into. Now, something that I really love about these markers is that they come in light and dark. There is a total of 12 colors or 26. Now I can't remember that I'm starting to talk about it, but there's an array of colors that match the Stampin' Up! Color inks that we already have, plus there is an ivory and a bronze as well as a color lifter. Now, something else that I think you'll like about these markers is the fact that they dry quickly and you can do blending with them. Now, you're not going to be able to tell as much now, but I'm going to come back in here with the same color marker and I'm going to add extra shading over here, and once this is fully dry, you'll definitely be able to tell that you can use one color to get shading, but because there is a light and a dark, you can also use those together to get deeper, richer colors in your shading if you want to. So we'll let that get dry and you should be able to tell. Now, these fit together very tightly to prevent them from drying out. I'm going to go ahead and do his little mittens in the old olive. And if you feel like you are not great at coloring, you don't have to worry about that because these markers make it so very easy to color. And I find it quite relaxing and therapeutic, as a matter of fact. So color in his boots, and I'm going to add a little extra shading around here under the fur and then around the side and down the bottom of his little boot. Well, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and color in his belt in this gray as well. And then I'm going to use the ivory and just color in his face with the ivory, and then I'm going to add some little pink cheeks and some pink lips. I'm going to take my pink pirouette, color in his cheeks and his lips. How cute is he? I just love, love, love this little stamp set. Let's go ahead and get him punched out. And hopefully you can tell that there is shading on there. Maybe not on camera, but once you see the photographs that I'm going to take and put on my blog, you'll be able to see that shading much better there. So we're going to get him punched out. I just got to get him all lined up here. Okay. Now I'm going to need 2 of those circles, so I'm just going to go ahead and punch those out while I'm thinking of it. And when you are using these markers, as you can tell, they will bleed through your paper. So I have a craft mat here, but if you are working on top of a table or something you don't want to get ink on, make sure that you put some scrap paper or something underneath it to prevent the ink from going through. Now I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm going to glue all of these together and then glue him on the very top. So now I have all those layers stuck together, and I went ahead and stuck the little ball on top of his hat. So now all we need to do is cut out all of our pieces with our Big Shot, and to do that with, I'm just going to be using my Big Shot and my layering squares framelits dies. To cut out the red glimmer paper, I'm going to use the largest of the scallops, and then to cut out the designer series paper as well as the real red that goes on the back, I'm going to use the largest of the plain squares. So I'm going to put a glimmer paper on there, put my scalloped square on top of that, and then I'll go ahead and cut out a piece of my designer series paper while I'm doing that. I'm going to get all of these cut out. So I have my to and from mounted on a block A. I'm just going to go ahead and use my Memento ink since I have that out and stamp that just about in the center of my real red cardstock. Now to put all of this together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my red or real red tinsel trim, and I've got a piece here. I would say that's probably about 8 inches long. You can make it shorter, longer, whatever you like. I'm going to use some of my fast fuse, and I'm going to put several pieces down through here. Then I'm going to stick my Real Red tinsel trim down in that and get that pushed down really, really well. Then I'll be using my fast fuse to adhere the rest of this together. And just to make sure that it sticks, I'm going to put quite a bit of this fast fuse, especially right around that trim, because it is a little bit bulky. I want to make sure that this stays stuck together. And I'm just going to try to get all of those little scallops lined up and even with one another and give that a good press all over, especially where that trim is, to make sure it stays stuck together. Now, to attach my cardstock to my glimmer paper, I am actually going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue again. And I don't know where my brain was. I told you that you were going to need 2 pieces of your designer series paper, but you only need 1. So rewind and only have 1 piece of designer series paper that is 3.5 by 3.5. And then the other, what I was thinking of is that there would be designer series paper on both sides of your tag, but it's only going to be on the front. Don't know where my brain was when I told you that, and I apologize. So I've got my mini glue dots here, or not mini glue dots, I have my mini dimensionals. So here are both of the projects, and as you can see, I've used a different designer series paper on the 2 of them. I just kind of wanted to get an idea of which one I was going to like the best. They're very similar, but this of course has a lot more green in it. So anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this first installment, I guess I should say, of my Gift Tag Tuesday series. And tune back every Tuesday because I will have plenty more gift tags to share with you. If you like this tutorial, I would love for you to give the video a thumbs up. There will be a list of all of the supplies that I used to make this project in the description box that's below this video. If there's anything that you need and you want to make this for some gift tags yourself, there is a link to my online store. If you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love for you to shop with me. If you have any questions and want to know more about the Stampin' Blends or possibly becoming a demonstrator yourself so that you can get your hands on some of these things before anybody else, make sure you let me know if you have any questions. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I will be talking to you soon.